One.
Oh, wait, here. Everybody has
Oh, you got one?
No, that's a lighter. Everything's George too.
for a knife.
Yeah, George is the one that's well known.
Who's George?
George Jensen.
Oh, George Justin.
Yeah, everybody did George.
Who's George?
Why don't you go visit him?
I was telling Jim about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm so glad all of you here. Howard. So I just want to let you know sort of how I see this going, and so we'll have a little memorial service. I just ordered pizza, which will be here in about 45 minutes, and I have some LaCroix and some pie, some chocolate cake. So after we memorialize Howard, we'll and so I thought I would start off with an introduction, do a couple of readings from the Bible, and then we can just tell stories. Sound good? Excellent.
That's great.
So I'll let you, so we all know, so Howard Malcolm Lyon, he was like 81 or 82. So last Monday, I came back from the dining room and Mike Steffi was on the front porch and he says, "Oh, I think we got a problem inside." And I said, "Oh God, is it Roger?" Because Roger's been the one who's been sick lately. And he said, "No, it's Howard." And so Mike had peeked into Howard's room and it didn't look good. And so then I went in and Howard died in his room sometime over the weekend. And he was just kind of like, anyways, he had passed away. And so I just want to, should I start? So actually, I think I'll start with some readings and then I'll start with my story, then that can lead into whatever else people want to share.
You got bookmarks like a priest.
I prepared,
Yeah.
All right, so this is from Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? The Lord is my life's refuge. Of whom should I be afraid? When evildoers come at me to devour my flesh, my foes and my enemies themselves stumble and fall. One thing I ask of the Lord, this I seek, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. And then this is from the prophet Micah. This is one of my favorite readings. And actually, I just had Mike DePina do a painting with this quote on it. With what shall we come before the Lord and bow before God Most High? Shall I come before him with sacrifices, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with the myriad streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my crime, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? You have been told what is good and what the Lord requires of you, only to act justly, to love tenderly, and to walk humbly with your God.
Amen.
Amen. So I particularly chose that last reading because I just think Howard was such a nice guy, and I remember one time one guest at the shelter was saying how Howard was really mean to him, and I said, I know you're not right, you're not being honest here, because Howard, except for Fletcher, Howard's the nicest guy I've ever met, so.
This is my barber. He's my barber.
You're going to look like the 1970s pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'll chop you down.
Yeah.
Right down there, say he got the clippers.
Yeah, all right.
But I will cut my hair when I go to New Orleans.
So I would say that. So Howard was born and raised in Jamaica. Came here. I'm not quite sure when. I don't know.
Spent quite a bit of time
Yeah,
there.
but apparently, so we first knew him at the shelter. He would come by, I guess, the dining room first, and then he was looking for space. And once I could understand what he was saying, I brought him into the shelter. And for maybe Pat, did some of the research, looked on our old files, but it's like for maybe a year and a half, he was in and out of the shelter. And then Edison had to move out. Edison, who had lived here for so long. And when Edison went into a board and care, we had an opening. So I said, "Oh, Howard, nice guy." Plus, we traded one Afro-Caribbean for another Afro-Caribbean. So we had Howard here for a couple of years, and then we had an opening to work at the shelter. And, Howard was old, but I thought, he's calm, he's nice, he could be. And so he started working at the shelter one night a week. And he said, I don't know if I can do everything because he had really bad arthritis in one hand. But he did what was most important, and that was show up on time, sober. And even more important than that is he treated people nicely. And he was respectful and kind to folks.
Very kind soul.
Yeah, and that, and so then, in November, I could tell he was getting kind of tired. And so I said, Howard, we love you. We love the work that you do. We don't want you to leave, but if you want to retire, it's fine. And so he said, okay, well, thank you. And then a couple of weeks later, he said, I think I'll work till the end of February. And by this time I had talked with Mike about taking over, and he was interested. I said, Howard, we have someone, Mike, who can take over whenever you're done. He said, okay, I'll work till the end of January. And so that's what he did. And then 2.5 weeks later, he died. But, you say, oh my God, he worked till he died. But the work gave him meaning. It kept him active. And he's the second slowest person I've ever seen on a bicycle. Of course, the first slowest is Fletcher again.
Not anymore.
He's probably the oldest though.
Yes, the oldest. Yeah, I stopped making fun of him when I realized, oh my God, I may not even be alive and he's bicycling still. So, and he would, he was a trained electrician, so he did multiple electrical repairs for us.
Go-to for that.
Yeah, and even the week, days before he died, he did a project for us so that we could put in an electric stove. So.
That's nice.
So that's enough for me for now.
I'll never forget the time that he was speaking and he was talking about his farmer wife. And I thought, farmer wife? Maybe in Jamaica, they have a woman to take care of the farm for you when you're away, and this and that. And it turns out after it was translated, he was saying his former wife. It kind of changed everything. I was like, oh, I see. Your former wife, not farmer. That was funny.
That was one of my favorite
I
stories.
talked to Howard Friday before that Friday. Him and his brother was here.
Okay.
His brother was here from I don't know, Palo Alto, somewhere down that way. And he sounded like he was okay then, Because I was more worried about this guy here instead of Howard, Because I know Howard was moving a little slow. Like he said, he couldn't do the shelter no more. And I told him, I said, well, we're going to be here. His brother come by anytime he wanted to. His brother was saying, well, his birthday is in March, and Howard's birthday is in March, and his birthday is in August. And he'll be 90, so, and he's 7 years younger and older than Howard. When I was talking to him on the front porch, but he seemed to be fine that day, It seemed to be the same Howard,
Yeah, it was sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden. It wasn't like Mike and
Mike. It's
Yeah.
It was always gone. It was almost gone.
Where's Mr. Juan? That was a fun day too. Him and Howard were on the back porch talking, and Juan's got a little accident, and Howard's got a little accident, and both of them are like, what? I gotta get some more coffee for this.
I first met Howard on the first Tuesday I was at the shelter, and Pat was there, fortunately. Pat already knew who I was. And even though Howard and I have had a couple of rough spots on the way, Janet knows, but it was nothing serious. I mean, the last time I saw him, he came in and we did that handshake. James knows what it's called. Yeah, and he walked toward the back, and I never saw him again. That was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Howard the same time James met him, and I thought he was quite a character, and he was kind of joking around and everything. And anytime I saw him, he always gave me a nice tell me what's going on in the day and stuff. And he was kind of cracking jokes and everything too. And I can remember him riding his on the Christmas party. He rode his bike into the to the shelter there for the Christmas party, and gave me a nice high and everything too. And so I always got the impression he was just a very down to earth type individual. No.
Anyway, the reason of balloons, you guys, is
Yeah.
my sister started this tradition when we had a friend pass away pretty young. She was murdered. Long story short, because that's not Howard, but basically we let go. We put a little signature on a balloon, and we just let it go, and we watched it as far as it could go. That's why I did that. So ever since then, when I go to a funeral or anything, I usually bring balloons. Just so you guys know, I want everyone to sign the balloon. But yeah, Howard was the one that told me also that the best weed is from Jamaica. So, and he said, I've heard nothing like Jamaican weed. Yes. So I believe you. I'm not going to argue with that, because I don't know. I've never been to Jamaica.
I shouldn't have wrong for that.
Oh, did you?
Well, related story to that. So, everyone remembers the Muppet Show, and you would have the two old men who would sit on the balcony, making comments. So Howard and Roger would sit on the back porch and making comments and talking. And I remember one evening, and they would have happy hour out there together where they're smoking their pot. And he's happy hour. And so at this happy hour, Howard was pretty happy. And he said, Roger asked me if I wanted to come out here and get stoned. And I said, no, I just want to get pebbled. But, I don't know if Roger wants to talk about this, but the two of them just always were out there and keeping each other company. And it was such a nice thing to see. When Howard first moved in, I had to warn him, I warned everybody about Roger when they first moved in. I said, Roger's a very nice guy, but, it's, he likes to joke. And so, of course, what did he call Howard? Voodoo Man. But they became very close friends.
He had a doll that he was sticking with pins to make Roger hurt.
When I first met Howard, he was offering KFC, and every time I drive by a KFC, it makes me think about Howard. But for a while, initially I thought, I kind of did feel like Howard, in some way made me uncomfortable because he seemed impatient. Like, some people would describe him mean, but I guess maybe it's just me. And the thing is, it's nothing to take serious. I mean, it's just, whatever. But, I don't know, I guess at some point when I was talking to Janice about, she was asking me about how I became homeless. I guess Howard overheard, my life story, and he took a shift towards, communicating with me. And, I guess we started off a little rough, but then we started, progressing in our relationship. Yeah. Eventually, I ended up giving him a ride. I offered a free ride to take him to the pharmacy where he wants to get his medication, and we were talking in the car. But he also mentioned he was going to retire. And I told him that I thanked them, for providing us, for providing us humanitarian service to us, the homeless people. And he didn't say anything, but I just thanked him, And at some point, Howard taught me a game called Ludi. It's like a Jamaican game, but I never understood how to play that game, but I was playing with him, and every time I see him, I would play Ludi with him, and I was certain I was gonna beat him for once. I never did, but I was so close. But unfortunately, he passed away. I guess on the bright side, he died victorious.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. But Howard. Howard was a good man. I was actually getting along with him. it's kind of ironic how I always wore this Jamaican sweater whenever I played this Looney with him. And now that Janice mentioned him, yeah, I kind of do want him to smoke weed with Howard. Oh well.
He mixed it with tobacco anyway.
Oh well.
That makes for rough smoking.
You put it on Skype, right?
No.
No, I think she's gonna send it to their.
Yeah, because his daughter said,
Yeah.
man, would you gonna put it on Skype?
So I'll tell another. So his daughter came out this week to get some possessions, but she also wanted just to sit and talk with me to hear stories about the dad, because Howard wasn't always around his family. Like he'd be around and then he would like disappear.
Yeah.
you know, and then come
Wandering
back.
soul.
Yeah, and I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, one or two of his daughters came out to visit him, and this daughter told me that, you know, at the time we thought that, you know, let's rent him an apartment so that he has a place. And then she came here and she met all of us, saw that he had friends here, and then when she said, "Oh no, he has family here. He's taken care of. This is a great house for him. He wouldn't be alone." And then when he would go, you know, every summer they would pay for him to fly out to New York. And she told me about how he would always talk about the shelter, how much he loved working there, and how he had to get back by a certain day so he could work his shift. And like when I first talked with his family, I felt bad. I was like, you know, I don't want you to think that we took advantage of your dad, like, you know, working an old man to death shit. No, he loved it. It gave him meaning and purpose. And, you know, not only did he work at the shelter, not only did he do the odd electrical job for us, but he was the laundry guy. And he would hang laundry, put it in the dryer, fold it, and which was especially because if you've ever been in our basement, the ceiling's low. And so he's always hunched over while he's working in the basement. And so I thought, you know, part of me was like really sad. Well, obviously sad when he died. But then I thought about it and I said, it was a good death. Like, he had meaningful life. He worked up until just about the end. He had a nice place to live these last 5 years or however long he was here. And he had friends around him. Right, you know, and he had meaning in his life toward the end. And his daughter said, his working with you was the longest he'd ever worked in any one place, you know, for like decades. So he would bounce around. So
that was good.
And they're having a service for him too, right, Peter?
yeah. His family lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's a little long commute.
And Jamaica, right?
So I'm going to pay for plane tickets for everybody here. And we'll,
To Jamaica, right?
yeah.
Not Brooklyn.
Yeah. First class, of course.
Of course. Need you ask.
Because he had still didn't he have a couple of children still in Jamaica? I thought he had 2 left there.
I do not know. I don't even know how many children. And
Yeah, I don't know.
told.
Was it 5 total?
I think he had 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Talk about grandchildren more than he did about children.
Yeah.
Someone's
I think,
grandchildren.
Yeah,
So
one of his kids just had a child, so he was really excited about the grandbaby.
Right.
Or a great grandbaby, because his granddaughter in LA
Yeah.
had a baby.
Because they always try to show me pictures, you know. Yeah. I gotta go get my eye. So I can't see that picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Show me the picture.
And then he'd have trouble finding him in all his pictures. He's going through, scrolling. It was just right here. I can't find it now. Well, let me know when you do.
Well, all I know is he'll be missed.
He's definitely
Yes.
missed.
I'm sure he's watching over right now.
Oh, I'm sure too. He probably
I liked how he
said,
called me Sir Peter, like
Yes.
about a year or
He
so
called
ago.
everybody Sir in
Yeah.
his first name.
Except Fletcher.
Yeah.
So he called me Sir Peter, so I called him Sir Howard right back.
Yeah.
I call him Mr. Lyons.
Yeah, me too. Mr. Lyons. Good times. I'm glad I met him. He's
Me too.
he's
Me too.
inspirational.
Me too.
That
For
was
sure. Just to be as calm as he was and as open, it was refreshing.
And his sense of humor.
Yeah. he was
I'm a
kinda-
built-in
he was
blender,
kinda salty
Debbie.
sometimes, but he figured it out and he understood.
What did he say to you? He's a what?
Built-in ladder.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
built-in ladder. Oh yeah.
Listen, let her.
Debbie, I have a built-in ladder. Okay, Howard.
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6".
That.
He's a tall individual.
Roger, do you want to add anything?
You don't want to know the things he told me. He was no angel either. He used to be a bootlegger, you know that?
Oh,
Bootlegger on rum.
yeah.
He used to smile, tell me about all that. Yeah.
Basketball star.
Yes.
I love him so though.
Roger's. I know his sister told me, he goes, the good thing is he reconciled with his family.
Yeah.
So that really touched me.
Probably from moving here.
Yeah.
And he was stable, so he felt comfortable and confident.
And she goes, we've had some quality time with him, she said.
That's
So
awesome.
that was just really touching.
And he really liked salted fish.
And cabbage.
And cabbage, yes.
Oh, yeah. he loved
And
that
beans.
And his cookies and sweets.
Yeah, he liked his sweets too. Gotta wash that salted fish down. So
That's true. He wouldn't leave till that laundry was done.
yeah.
'Cause, you know, I'll tell him, go ahead on, Howard, go ahead on, I'll finish it up for you. I gotta finish the laundry. No, go ahead. You need your medicine. Go get your medicine.
Yeah.
The laundry will be here. Somebody will get that for you. And I miss Howard, because somebody was sitting on that chair down there while I come outside to have my coffee.
Someone besides the cat.
Well, the cat gonna be there. I can't come out the door. I want to help him with it.
That's right. He'd never want to come back up the stairs and go back down.
Yeah. It's too far of a trip. We'd sit down there and wait for that red light to go off. It says a minute, but it's not a minute.
Okay, well I guess we can wrap it up unless
Okay, break.
anybody else wants to.
Brian, you have anything you want to share over there?
Right?
Brian Lynch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brian Lynch. Or should I said Lynch?
All I know the mail, most of them, the mail.
You recognize the name, huh?
I don't know you, so I know the mail.
I don't know, ever since I met Howard, we hit it off from day one. I don't know what it was about, maybe the fact that we both are potheads, but both had a sense of humor, and we like strong coffee too.
Well, that strong coffee is too much for me.
Yeah.
Oh, he liked you a lot.
Every time I see him, he had a smile from ear to ear on his face. And every time I gave him a nice big brick of hash, or you should have seen his jaw drop.
I would ask if we would all take a hit for Howard, but I don't have any weed with me.
Okay, so after the service outside.
We know that, Peter.
Yes.
Howard's favorite type of pot would be too.
Jamaican?
His jaw drop when I told him Jamaica might have good weed, but you've never seen anything like this. And when I showed it to him, his jaw literally dropped over and like, it's not even green, no, it's almost purple and white. He loved it.
All right, so we can wrap this up, and people can work up an appetite
Okay.
for those who care to join in. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I want to say, keep coming back. It works, but that's
Okay, wherever you thanks. Well, then you might get caught on a power line.
all right. Howard, we love you.
God bless
We love you, Howard.
Oh, shit. Oh, there we go. Oh, oh. It's usually really cool.